What? Oh, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Tab, Freefly, here at the Arri Mini Movi Pro. We're going to walk through how to get this Arri on the Movi Pro and up and shooting. So we're going to start from kind of a bare camera. I've got a Paralinx wireless. I've got the Arri Movi Pro D-Tap to Arri power input. I've got two of the focus motors from Movi Pro microfit to 7-pin LEMO connectors. A couple little SDI cables for our small HD monitor and for the Paralinx to the Mini. So I thought I'd just quickly show how these guys attach. The Movi Pro camera plate has a bunch of 3/8 and 1/4-20 holes. So we've elected to grab two of these are actually the Freefly plates for the Arri, but you could be using the Arri plates too if you wanted to. And then we're using 1/4-20 screws in this slotted section of the Movi Pro camera plate. So I just get those roughly snug, make sure everything's aligned. It's nice to be able to use two screws now because it will keep everything all lined up. And then same idea on the top, picking up two attachment points. I won't show it, that works. Same idea on the top for the top rail camera mount. We've got rod mount, two Hedin, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, focus motors. I'm gonna set those up a little bit tighter against the gears. And then we've got a Nikon 17-35 with rings added. We love this lens. So at this point I'm going to, well actually I think I should, let's install the wireless first. So I've got, this is kind of our standard mounting area for wireless these days. We use the dual 15mm pop and lock, and then we just attach to the Paralinx 1/4-inch mount there. So this whole mechanism, and then you can pre-do the wiring in it, so it stays with the Paralinx ready to go. So slot that in there. I don't know if you want to get in here, Hugh, but you can see this little wedge just slides right in here. Slides in there, and then this locking piece comes down and engages to keep it locked in. So that's a nice way to easily get the wireless on or off the Movi Pro quickly. And then for the next step, we'll engage the bottom camera mount. So I've got the middle lever open, which actuates the camera rail clamp. So with that open, I can just slide this in and just keep two hands on everything. Here's how I do it. I shouldn't say that actually, I'm probably gonna drop it right after I said that. I get it roughly balanced and tilt, so you can see it's fairly close there. So I'll lock it down on the bottom middle lever. And then the new top rail on the Movi Pro actually can, if you get in here and show this mechanism, Hugh, when you turn sideways, this piece can actually slide down into the rail. And then when you turn it the other way, it's wider that way, so it can actually engage the rail clamping features and lock that thing down. So you can see as I come down here, it slots in there, and then get it from the front, you can actually see it. And then you can see it clamp in there. I'm going to clamp these side clamps, and then we'll lock that down. So we have the camera in there. It's roughly balanced. It's secured. It's not going to fall out.
Are Movi Pro camera plates going up in the store soon?
Movi Pro camera plates, I'm not sure. They should go up in the store. That makes a lot of sense. I'll check. So now I'm going to plug in, swing this around so I can get to the back of it easy. I'm going to plug in the 12-volt auxiliary D-Tap to the wireless.
Good question. When you get the camera up and running, run the camera at 200 frames per second. Can the batteries deal with the voltage?
Yes, I think he means amperage, like current. Yes, I can. It's the 6-amp output on this camera port, the one that I'm going to plug in right now, is more than adequate for the Arri Mini's demands. So plug that guy in, and then that goes to the battery input connector on the Mini. Which way did this come out? This way? And then we've got the two focus motors to plug in. So I'll route focus, and I just route them back over the camera rail. And then back around here.
Another question.
Plug it into the
connected
one
to the last
labeled
question.
F.
Even with C-force motors for the batteries powering the Mini.
I don't know what the C-force motors draw. It should. I think people have used that so far.
And what's the wireless unit that you have set up again on there?
It's a Paralinx Tomahawk. I'd have to know what the C-force, what the max current draw of a C-force motor is when connected to the Arri. I don't know if we've benchmarked that. I think it should work though. And then this guy's going into Iris, and that's just the next port in the row. There's just little gaskets that come down and cover all these ports and keep them weather sealed. So you just fold them up and then plug this guy in. These are locking connectors, so you can hear them click when they're installed. So now we've just got to get the small HD monitor on there, and then you can see we're slightly out of balance. So I'll just do a quick final balance. So I've got the 13mm quick release plug mounted to the small HD. I'm going to clamp that guy in. And we've got this reasonably flexible SDI cable. Do a quick connection there and run that right down to this guy. SDI 2 on the Mini.
Can the new Mimic controller work with the M5?
No, not right now. Possibly in the future, but we're not quite sure how we'll implement that. But the Movi Pro and the first generation Mimic Beta use different wireless technologies. Okay, so we're all rigged up and ready to go here. We're slightly out of balance. I'm going to tweak the balance just a little bit. You can see it wants to fall back. So this is a cool trick. If you're just very slightly out of balance, sometimes you can just open the top clamp and tweak it forward a little bit. Like I just rotated the whole thing forward, and it's not quite enough, but I can push a little harder. But if you have just a quick tweak you need to make sometimes from a lens change or something, sometimes you can get away with that. I need to adjust it a little bit more than that, I can see. But
And can we use any kind of prime lenses with the Movi Pro?
yes, you can use any prime lens that will balance will be fine. So I think most primes will be fine. So you can see we're roughly balanced. We've got focused iris motors installed. They're tight against the gears. Monitor for operators installed, so we can plug in batteries. So battery voltage status, 3 out of 4 bars should get us through. Oh, one thing I didn't touch on, we've actually got a Movi controller receiver hooked onto this guy, plugging into the COM1 port, and then that'll communicate with this Movi controller with the alpha wheels. So we'll fire that up and demonstrate it in a second.
Will the gamepad work on the Mimic with the M5?
The Mimic does not work with the M5, so thus the gamepad on the Mimic will also not work with the M5. There is a possibility that that will work in the future, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. It's something that we're discussing internally. So we've got Movi Pro up and running. Power up the Alexa. This guy. Okay, so we're up and running. Yeah. Let me move this guy down here.
Okay.
We're good to go?
Yeah.
We lost connection there for a minute. I think the Wi-Fi chunked out. So now we've got Movi controller hooked up to the alpha wheels, and you can see I've got control. I'm not particularly good on wheels, but I've got control of pan and tilt remotely of the Movi Pro. And I think one interesting thing about these guys is they're actually controlling the pointing of the Movi rather than sending a rate command to the Movi. So the nice thing about that is, you know, wheel movements here will actually correlate to the exact change in pan and tilt orientation on the Movi Pro. So if you do, you know, if you do 3 revolutions with this, you can expect it to move the same amount every single time, which I think, you know, I'm not a wheels guy, but I think that's important for the way people operate wheels. It's fun to operate though. I mean, it's nice to, I'm terrible at it, but you can see it's, if you were good at wheels, this would be something that you would like.
Just gonna unplug the.
Any other questions? What?
You guys need a better Wi-Fi for your stream.
I know, I know. It's on our to-do list. We thought it was fine, and then it bit us. So yeah, that's from. What's that? From Bear.
Any way to reduce the delay, and also any way to have the tilt lock in Majestic still control tilt on the wheels?
Well, there's not really any delay, so I don't. I mean, the delay is maybe like 8 milliseconds or something. It's nothing. What was the second question? Any way to what?
Also, any way to have the tilt lock in Majestic still control tilt on the wheels?
Tilt lock and Majestic. I see. I'm sure there's a way. I don't know it, but someone in this building does. What's the? I'm trying to figure out what the use case would be for that. You for someone that's controlling Majestic pan, and then you want the remote operator to control tilt. Yeah, I'm sure it's doable.
Can you adjust the sensitivity of the wheels?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
So you can actually come in here on tilt. So on tilt, I just took they call it the gear ratio down. So my movements on the wheels give a much bigger movement on the Movi. And then if you were to run this up, you can see I'm doing a lot of movement and not very much tilt.
What is the range of focal lengths that you recommend running on the Movi?
Movi Pro, I would say, you know, wide angle lenses up to 120 millimeter. Depending, and once you get up to 100, 120 mil, you know, 85 to 120 mil range, it's going to depend on your use case, what you can get away with.
And is the compatibility with Alexa configuration software being implemented to work with, like we have done with the Red?
There is no, Arri has not opened up anything to us or provided any path forward on that. So there's nothing being done presently to integrate the Mini with the Movi Pro. But I'm hopeful in the future that that will be a possibility.
You want to talk through the hold strength, maybe? No.
Do the new pan tubes pass through the new ring?
When it's balanced with an Alexa, you'll hit the handle or you'll hit the ring on the GCU right about there. It would have been nice if the thing passed through, but if we created a ring where it did pass through, then the operator would be holding it super wide, which is really uncomfortable to operate for long periods of time. So we chose to prioritize operator comfort versus the ability to pass the camera through. Partly because if you are passing the camera through in a shot like this, it's going to be ruined by seeing the ring anyway. So I think it's better to prioritize operator comfort over clean pass through. And it's pretty easy. If you did want to switch it around the other way, you can quickly take the toad in the hole off, flip it around, put it back on. You have the same functionality, or you can slide pan forward real quick, swing it through, and then rebalance pan. So yeah, that's Alexa Mini, Movi Pro, up and running, ready to shoot.